great, I'm here. You're here.
Have you heard any more of this?
No, I'm sorry. That's another one.
I am. Y'all got the university.
Where's Danny?
I don't know. I didn't even ask him. He just sent me a text and said he wasn't gonna be here. I guess I should have.
Oh, yeah, he's for sure.
I am. Sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, no problem. Oh, yeah, that's easy.
No, that's what I understand. Yeah, that's what I understand.
All righty, we'll call this meeting to order. If we could have a roll call. Please, ma'am.
Chloe Calicott,
Here.
Jim Herring, Todd Collins.
Here.
Danny Clark, Mike Wayne Thomason.
Here.
Matthew Barnhill.
Here.
Keith Nash, Steve Janakis.
Here.
Dusty Jordan.
Here.
Ron Mayberry.
Here.
Devin Pickard.
Here.
Ron Puckett. Clay Chesser.
Here.
Ricky Murray.
Here.
10 present, 4 absent.
10 present, 4 absent. We do have a quorum. You had, there was an agenda that was emailed out. 11. Need an approval of the agenda.
Second.
Faith, you good on that? Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Who was the second on that? Sorry. Okay.
All opposed? Any opposed, excuse me? All right, we have an agenda. Public comment period. Is there anyone that would wish to speak during the public comment period? Alrighty. Adoption of the minutes from, we did not have a meeting on, this would be
November.
November. It says December on the, was that from the November? Did those get, might have to adopt those at the next meeting. Did
I
those
don't know
get,
that they got sent out.
I don't think they, I don't remember, I might have missed them. I don't remember seeing them. Okay. All right, we will take care of that. This is what happens when you get the JV chairman right here, y'all. Hey, y'all just bear with me. Bear with me. We'll take care of that next month. Beth, if you could remind the real chairman of that.
I will.
Is there a monthly reports? We're gonna start with EMA.
I got mine late. I didn't get it turned in until today. I had too many holiday festivity fun, but everything should be in the packet. If y'all have any questions on it, I'll be glad to answer anything. Thank y'all.
Pete, can you bring everybody up to speed on communications with 911, just to let them know there's been a lot, just to highlight where we are on everything?
So currently, right now, we're still in the process of getting all the legal pieces finalized with state and those contracts there. Most of them have been signed. We're still waiting on one more to come through, but then we'll be moving. Once all those contracts are signed, we will be starting to move over the process of the state coming onto our towers and us going over onto some of the state towers to try to enhance those capabilities as far as communications. But right now we're kind of in that process. We've got the last of the radios, which are for the fire departments, have been ordered. As far as I know, they're en route to here now. they're being, we won't be turning any of those radios over to the fire departments until after we've done the training, but that should be happening this month here in January. So all the other departments should have their radios. I think there's still a few little quirks that we need to work out.
Anything else? All right.
Thank y'all.
Who wants to go next? Go ahead, Alan.
Apologize, we got our email out just about an hour ago. We were waiting on a quote coming in for the monitors. They had sent us one and it had some errors in it they were correcting. I made some hard copies if anyone needs a hard copy that didn't get the email. All right, so we too kind of had a glitch for October. We couldn't get the numbers. There was a glitch in the system. And so if you don't mind, I'll report October's numbers next month. November, we ran 232 calls. Our collections were $67,398.24. Our charges were $165,249.73. December, we had 280 calls. Our collections were $80,818.19. And our charges were $147,775.23. You want to handle all of the financials in one vote, or?
Yeah, I think that'll be fine.
Okay. We have two write-off requests. One is for $877.50. Family that had a 4-year-old diagnosed with a seizure disorder. Dad was out of work at the time, didn't have insurance. Mom's having to take off to go with the kid. He's now working, but they had no insurance during that time. TriStar gave them a total write-off for their situation because their financial situation was so bad. Also, we have a 57-year-old requesting write-off. She was in a wreck and has become disabled. She's getting on disability, but the checks haven't started yet. Her insurance at the time did pay most of the bill and left balance of $223.02. And that's the financials.
I make a motion to approve the write-offs.
But you get the columns a second. The,
877.50 and 233, or 223.02.
yeah, he made the motion. I made the second. Any discussion? We need a roll call on this, I believe.
Yes. Ron Callicott,
Yes.
Jim Herron, Todd Collins.
Yes.
Danny Clark, Mike Wayne Thomason.
Yes.
Matthew Barnhill.
Yes.
Keith Nash.
Yes.
Steve Janakis.
Yes.
Dusty Jordan.
Yes.
Ron Mayberry.
Yes.
Devin Pickard.
Yes.
Ron Puckett. Clay Chesser.
Yes.
Ricky Murray.
Yes.
So 11 yes, 3 absent.
Okay.
We're ready to move forward with purchase of our cardiac monitors. We have two financing options. The total cost is going to be $555,625, or $625.04 rather. And we have two options. One is a 3-year lease, and that's $185,208.34, and it's 0% interest. Or there's a 6-year 2% loan, and the monthly would be the annual would be $97,453.52. These prices are locked in until March 1st. More than likely there'll be a increase at that time.
Got a question for you. How much is what's the length of the monitors last?
They're about 10 years. We get about 10 years out of them.
Okay.
We've been approved for a grant for equipment through the state, which would be about $30,000 that we could apply toward the purchase, or toward the payment rather. And also I've been before the opioid board to ask for funding and in the process of that. So what if we got something, we could also put it toward that first payment. I'd like to ask you to go ahead and vote on this and send it before the budget committee. Crystal's here to answer any questions that you may have on the details of the financing.
Does any of the prices include the repairs? I mean,
Yes, the warranties are included, the monitors we chose had the best warranty, and so that's one reason that we chose them. And plus, there wasn't as many proprietary, get out in a minute, pieces of equipment you had to buy to go with it. The other, they sold you some pretty high stuff to go along, and, you know, as you work codes and stuff like that, you have to replace some pretty expensive equipment, and this one, you do not have to do that, so.
Do you have something?
Well, he answered that question, but I do have a question. So what we do tonight, just puts it before the budget committee to discuss, is that correct?
Yes.
Commissioner Nash?
I apologize, Alan, I may be plowing through some ground we've already done at least once. How many of these monitors are we?
7,
7. Is that one per vehicle?
yes, and also a CPR device per vehicle.
At one point in time, there was a conversation, I believe, that some of these are going out of date and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so all of ours have passed the 10-year mark as of first of the year. And so we're paying, well, last year we paid an extra $10,000 for warranty that covers less than what we were paying for. And this year we expect to go up another $5,000 or $6,000 to keep this thing afloat.
But we're talking about the warranty there, we're not talking about the obsolete date.
Right, so they're obsolete, and it's because they're obsolete, the warranty price keeps.
Maybe I should rephrase that. Instead of not being obsolete, a day that we are gonna be forced to take them out of service.
No. They're just getting old and.
Right.
And
And I guess-
replace them before they start failing.
So and then that's kind of my concern. Number one is, the concern is it's $500,000. The second concern is, if we do this, are we not gonna be 5 years from now, 6 years from now, gonna be sitting here looking at another choke point
Yes,
because we haven't staggered this?
yes.
Whereas if we could stagger it, we reduce the annualized cost, but then we also get this thing maybe that we can, instead of having to go through these extraordinary methods, we inject money into the annual budget to buy 1 or 2 a year and roll on like that.
So the issue that we run into is every year they change the equipment that goes with it. So we would have to stock like different pads for each year model. And so it just runs into just an issue with us keeping everything current and having to supply so many different, you know, some of those pads are $100 a piece. And if we had to buy stock for, you know, 6 or 7 different units, you know, that would be.
How often do they change models?
Every couple of years, they'll change something on it. So, you know, you know, how the computers and I mean, that's
Yeah.
same idea there.
So I mean, that's my concern, is that, okay, we somehow we bite this off, we're just setting ourselves up for another
Yeah, and
turn right around.
And that's exactly right. It's, you know, there's a date out there that you're racing toward where you'll have to do this again. And so, like I said, the ones we have are 10 years old and older. And that the recommended lifespan on an ambulance is 7 years just because of the wear and tear that you go through. But we try to pull that extra 3 years out, because we take care of our equipment. But, yeah, you're exactly right.
I mean, is there a better way of doing that than us, you know, setting ourselves up again for this major expenditure
I
as
haven't
opposed
found
to
one.
prorating?
We've talked about several different options that we could go through. You know, these are very delicate pieces of equipment that are very expensive, and that's all you know, that it is not a good situation, and I'm not saying that it is. but we're just getting to that point.
And so if we approve this, it's really just gonna push it to the budget committee, so all those financial hurdles and turmoils and questions and answers and strategies are gonna have to get played out in that committee.
Mr. Collins?
Alan, was there a communications issue with this? Was that something different that these machines, hospitals have changed, or am I thinking about something different?
We're set up to where we can communicate with hospitals, but either of those, either option, and even our old ones will communicate with the hospital in the same way. This one, has its own, MiFi built into it, and so that would allow us to communicate through that machine specifically without having to, link to other things, but, that's just, one of the upgrades that they put in it.
Anyone else?
Are they about $78 a thousand apiece?
The units, with the monitor and the CPR device together is right about $78,000, yes.
Okay.
I have the breakdown of the cost of the
Yeah, yes,
devices.
and you have all that in your email if you didn't have a chance to check yet. Somebody wants to look, more than welcome to.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
Is
each
the-
device.
Is the bid that you send us, is that the lowest bid, or did we have
It's not- it's
multiple
not-
bidders, or?
It's not the lowest bid, but the lower bid's the one that sticks you with all the equipment that you have to buy every time you use it. So there's, like on the CPR device, there's a band that you use every time you perform CPR. It's a $150 band. This one doesn't have that. It has a little suction cup that's reusable. They have tubes and stuff that are, you have to buy it through them, and they're very expensive. And so we felt like that it was better to buy the one that was more basic as far as not having to buy specialized equipment for it every time we use it. There wasn't a whole lot of difference, but what was it like?
I think it was about, for all of them together, it was about 34,000 in the quote, but paying for the live bands, I think, will make up the difference.
Commissioner Mayberry?
Two now. They're good for 7, we stretch them out to 10, is that,
That's
if at all possible?
Yes.
So that takes us to $7,937 a year per unit. Ms. Crystal, was there $34,000 difference in the bid? Or was the other bid 34,000?
So, and I didn't bring the other bid, but they were both Sabbath quotes, so it wasn't publicly bid because we buy it from cooperatives. But I believe for all of the heart monitors, it was about a $34,000 difference between the two. And then there was some stuff with the Zoll monitors wouldn't, they were still working on some stuff communicating with your ESO.
Yeah,
equipment
and
that
so
they didn't
that
do
was
yet.
another issue that Zoll just rolled out a brand new monitor that won't communicate with our computer program. And so, we just pretty well couldn't go with that because, what they're supposed to do is download all the stuff into our computer. And when we write our EPCRs, it just downloads it right into the system, and keeps it as a record. And the new Zoll monitor, they have not, gotten to that point yet, so
Does not communicate.
it does not communicate.
Mr. Collins?
We've talked about this before, are we at the max of what we can charge per run?
We're looking at that right now. Medicare just went up on their allowable, and so Beth jumped on that immediately.
We have adjusted our rates with the billing company. They annually review that when the Medicare rates come out. And as part of our contract, they automatically adjust those rates according to Medicare.
To the
It was
ma-
put into our contract this time to do that,
To the maximum.
yes. So they are reviewing, ours I think should be reviewed by the end of this month to adjust.
Is it, do you look at a substantial, have you seen any predictions or?
No, I haven't seen anything yet.
Any other questions? We'll need a motion to send it to the budget committee. Kick it around there.
I'll make a motion to send it to both.
Commissioner Collins and Commissioner Mabry on the second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay. We'll get to talk about it again next Monday. Okay. What else, sir?
That's all. Thank you.
Okay.
Do we need to make a motion to accept all the financial?
We did that part.
Oh, it covers with, okay, I thought that was for separate.
Okay. Well, I don't know, does that,
We did the write-offs,
okay, thank you. Well, do we need another motion to accept all of the?
yes.
Yep, thank you, sir. Need a motion for that. We'll use you, Collins and Mabry a second. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Clark Calcott?
Yes.
Jim Heron, Todd Collins?
Yes.
Danny Clark, Michael Wayne,
Yes.
Matthew Barnhill.
Yeah.
Keith Ash.
Yes.
Steve Janakis. Dusty Jordan.
Yes.
Ron Mayberry.
Yes.
Devin Pickard.
Yes.
Ron Puckett. Clay Chesser.
Yes.
Ricky Murray.
Yes.
So 11 yes, 3 absent.
Okay. All right, Sheriff Kraft, Matt, who wants next?
I said we're recording, I don't really have anything else unless you have questions.
Any questions for Matt, maintenance side, properties? All right, Sheriff Kraft?
Right. A few things, I did not get my report, so I apologize. We were 1,328 calls this month. We got 138 people in the jail currently. We did have a meeting with Judge Lane and the people at the courthouse a few weeks ago. We believe we have an office for Judge Lane, kind of worked out, and for his assistant. I talked to Matt about that today, some minor things we need to do to get that fixed up, so he'll actually be here in the process of getting that done. There was, we had a pretty good meeting, I guess, about 2.5 hours, probably, on some stuff that we'd like to, what everybody in the courthouse would like to see done, to some improvements that needs to be done, some security-wise, different things that needs to be done, like in the courthouse, and just a lot of this general maintenance that just hadn't been done in a long time, that we need to upgrade some stuff. But we had a very productive meeting on that. Brady Turner, he is still deployed to Memphis with National Guard, probably be there for a few more months, more than likely. We did talk to him, and there was a possibility he may get to come back end of this month, but it may be a little bit longer, we're a bit short-handed still. We are fully staffed right now on the patrol and the jail. And that's, that's took some time for that to happen, so we're making some progress there. STR did donate a 2017 Kenworth to us a couple weeks ago. That will open up a lot of doors for us to get a lot of federal surplus equipment. I've already talked to Jordan about at the landfill. There's stuff we can get for disasters and stuff that we can get and hopefully use out at the landfill that may save some money there on some equipment. That was a big portion, actually getting us a truck to use, and we'll start looking for a trailer and seeing what is out there that we can get and kind of help out not just the sheriff's office, but everybody in general. I'd been talking to Commissioner Clark, and I think he had talked to Commissioner Nash a little bit about a resolution for, our nicotine pouches that we're selling in the jail now. With the money that's made from that, going into pretty much a line item. I know, Crystal's been, working with us on that as well. And the money that's made from that would go into a line item that would just be used for, upgrades at the jail and upgrades for the Justice Center. And, I'd probably add in there too, maybe equipment for people in the jail as well, but keep it in-house where it's not going to patrol or anything, but it is focused mainly on these two areas. But like I said, hopefully we can get that going. Like I said, I talked to him today, and I think we're kind of working out the last little details of that. And we've already started the process, and that's going very well. Deputy Martinez, or Detective Martinez, he just got back a couple weeks ago. He spent 3 months in Virginia, and we are now certified, he is now certified to do all the training and certification, well, training of our new dogs. He used his college fund from the military to pay for this school. The only thing we paid for was his salary while he was there. And he done that the first time. That's how we got our first canine dog certified. He done it this time. He got an additional dog that he trained. And we'd also, Deputy Turner, who's in Memphis, we applied him for a scholarship at the same school. And when he got deployed, he actually got the scholarship, but the people there said, hey, you're an instructor with us now, you've passed, and you're good to go, so we're just gonna send you another dog back with you, and you can train it here and get him squared away, get him ready to go. Then we'll call them, they'll fly in and certify all our dogs at one time. So we'll have 4 dogs, pretty much at minimal cost to the county. It's been phenomenal. Another thing, he met I guess one of the reps that deal with the school there was Brianna. And now we're getting free dog food from them for all the dogs, so we don't have to pay for dog food anymore. So
Purina.
that is phenomenal.
Purina.
Yes, good stand. Purina. We have Purina, free dog food. So if y'all remember correctly, I know I remember it pretty well because I was sitting right there where Alan sitting. This time last year, I had to come and ask for a lot of money for medical. We were 25% over budget in December of last year. Me and Alan talked about it. I said that was one of the worst feelings I ever had, was to come and have to ask for money, and a lot of stuff I couldn't control because it was medical and food. We pretty much revamped the entire medical process in the jail. Had to get the attorney involved in a few things, and we are now at 21% of what our budget is, and we're halfway through the year. To me, that's phenomenal. So one thing I'd actually talked to Commissioner Clark about was if we're still on this road, when we get closer to the end of budget time, if we have some of that money left over, if it's possible, we can move that into line items where we can do the upgrades to the jail that we need done and to the courthouse that needs to be done. That would get something, that would get our process rolling a whole lot quicker than like I said, but like I said, that's an option we can look at if y'all would like to look at it. I think it'd be very beneficial, and then, like I said, it would help us out tremendously. That's about all I have right now, but I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody's got.
Commissioner Thompson.
Sir. I give you a round of applause for all the work that you've done. You're also the Citizen of the Year, but kudos to you for all you've done for us.
Well,
even though you gave me COVID.
That was years ago. We can't talk, we already talked about
I
that.
told him yesterday.
Hey, I tell everybody that it's not me, it's the people I have working for me that is doing a fantastic job. I tell everybody, I'm just wanna try to keep all the cats herded together, it's kinda what my job is. And, I'm sure there's a lot more people that was more deserving of that honor than me, but, I just try to do what y'all, put me in this position to do, so. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Nash?
So like the sheriff mentioned, he had spoken with Commissioner Clark and Commissioner Clark spoke with me about this. You know, what they would like to do is create a special account that will roll the revenue that comes in from that smokeless tobacco sales into that special account. And then the only thing that can be, that money can be expended on is, you know, the infrastructure enhancements that he's talking about in the jail and over here. I don't mind at all, and I'm okay with it. I'd like to write that resolution and get that, but I wanted to make sure everybody understood two things. Number one is, you know, if we go write this, I want everybody to know what we're doing so that everybody's, you know, tentatively okay with that. And so if you have an objection to, you know, kind of setting that money aside, I'd rather have that discussion now than when we have it with that resolution in front of you. The other aspect of it is, and everybody needs to understand this, and I think the sheriff understands it, is that, you know, the fact that this particular county court would agree to such a resolution does not ensure that another county court may come at some point in time and, you know, negate that, and it just become a line item, you know, it would just roll into 101 as far as revenue is concerned. So there's no way that I know of that we can just safeguard that in a lockbox, so to speak. But I think it would be, you know, it would not be very wise to do things, but I've seen a lot of unwise things done. So I just want to make sure before I go to the effort to do that, if anybody has a concern about us earmarking those revenues for that specific purpose, you know, I'm not saying speak up now and forever hold your peace, but I'd like to know it now before I go to the effort to get that written. So.
Okay. Any other questions or discussion pertaining to the sheriff department? All right, yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Next up is old business. Is there any old business? All right. Yes, sir.
We have just, Mayor?
Sure.
Yeah. I'm not asking for a timeline, by no means. Can you catch us up on what's left to do at the Pinewood Emergency
Sure,
Facility?
be glad to. There's just a tad bit of more painting that has to be done on the inside. The outside's completely finished except for the ramp and the pad out front. It has to be poured. The resin has to be put on the floors. The cabinets have to be installed, and they're just now, I think, finishing up the lights inside. Then, of course, the fixtures and trim has to be put in, and we'll be ready to roll. We're getting close, but I don't have a timeline.
All right, Commissioner Thompson.
Is there anything to do with the fire marshal?
Is there anything that I'm aware of? There is not.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other old business?
Did that answer your question?
Commissioner Thompson?
We agreed on pushing a resolution through for the collection of money at the four-way. That's been about a year. Do we know where it's at, how it's going? I mean, last we heard, it was going to the lawyer.
Yeah, that's the last I remember.
I
I think.
Can-
If you talk to Dan, will you check on that?
On the boot drives you talking about?
The
On
buckets they
collecting
set up?
money at the four-way. We had a resolution to look at and kind of tweak it, and make sure it was good.
I'll talk to the attorney.
That's all.
Okay. Moving on, new business, surplus property. There was an email that was sent out from the finance department. We'll need to vote on that. So,
I'll make a motion to make it surplus.
okay,
A second.
all right, any discussion? Do we need a roll call on that?
We didn't do roll
What's-
call. We do.
Sorry.
Claude Calcott,
Yes.
Jim Herron, Todd Collins,
Yeah.
Andy Clark, Michael Wayne Thomason,
Here.
Matthew Barnhill,
Yes.
Keith Nash,
Yes.
Steve Janakis.
Yes.
Dusty Jordan,
Yes.
Ron Mayberry,
Yes.
Devin Pickard.
Yes.
Ron Puckett, Clay Chesser, yes, Ricky Moore,
Yes.
11, yes, 3 absent.
Okay.
I'd just like to change my vote to a yes instead of here.
All right, other new business,
Do you have anything?
I do. In, whenever last time that we all convened?
November.
In November, we approved a road list that added a road that goes to a cemetery in my district. I got a phone call the day after that passed, or 2 days after that passed, and that property, that road, that cuts that road goes through is actually under litigation. I did not know that at the time, or I never would have brought it up. That information was not disclosed to me. But our full county court meeting at the end of this month, I will be bringing that back up as a motion to reconsider so that we can undo that, because the county does not need to do anything, make anything a county road or anything like that if there's pending litigation between some family members. And so I apologize. I never thought to ask that question when it was brought up to me. It made it through the county highway department. It didn't get brought up. And so, when I found that out, I felt like that we need to undo what we did. So there'll be a motion to reconsider at the end of the month, but that's what it'd be. I didn't want y'all, I know that really in this committee here, that may not pertain exactly, but I didn't want anybody to be caught off guard on the fourth Monday night about why that I was bringing that up. And if you've got any questions right now or anything like that, we can handle it now, or whatever, but I just didn't want anybody to be surprised, so. But that's the only other new business. Yes, sir.
So, I mean, your intention then would be for you to make a motion to reconsider, it'll be seconded. And then that, resolution will be back on the table,
Right,
and we will not approve that Grant County road.
correct.
And then once that's not approved, then it'll go back to that's the status that it was prior to us making that decision in November. And then that litigation can go forward and do whatever's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
and I apologize.
Without a bias, it looks like a bias.
Yes, right now, to me, it looks like a bias,
Yeah.
what we did. That it was, because it would help one side, and so it looks like a bias, but you're exactly right. And I should explain or should have had our parliamentarian, I guess, explain that. But yes, there'll be a motion. I'll bring up a motion to reconsider, because I was one of the ones on the prevailing side. It will need a second, and then we'll vote on that motion, and then it'll bring it back up, and then I'll be voting no. And if it gets voted down, then it will go back to the way that it was and will not have any effect on the possible effect on any litigation. So, but I do apologize, just didn't think to ask y'all. So, yes, sir?
I got a question. Mr. Sachs was here earlier, but I got a copy of an email from that said there was a theft that occurred at the solid waste, and that's all it says. Does anybody have any information
Back in 2004, former inmate was working out there.
24.
I mean, 24.
I was like, hey, if we go back to '04, I might be in trouble.
You sure that was email?
Yeah, these people were listening, they corrected me real quick.
Yeah.
This
Former
message
inmate,
was
broke in.
stated December 4th, 2025.
No, the occurrence was in 24.
Okay.
The audit that was done on was, we got the information there, but it was, 24 was the occurrence. Broke in, broke a safe open and got their, inmates lunch money and petty cash for landfill amounted to $189. And what damage was done to the building. The perpetrators were caught and they're now doing time. One of them's third time according to Jordan, and they are serving time for it.
Thank you, sir. Motion to adjourn.
No, we're not done yet. Mr. Nash.
So, I'm gonna kind of veer off the path for just a second, and I appreciate your indulging me on this. So, I think everybody's kind of tired of looking at this pretty cool document here. Having been on the planning commission and having sat through all of the public hearings and gone to the gaggles that we had around the county and listened to everybody, first off, I want to say that this document accurately reflects the will that was put forth by the folks in those meetings. And the planning commission synthesized that. Gresham Smith, further created this document from that input. And so I don't want anybody to think that what I'm about to say conflicts with that first point. This is what was this was not something that got made up. This was something that was a result of those surveys and was a result of those engagements. And so it is a legitimate document that the Planning Commission has put forward. But ultimately, the land use plan for Hickman County, Tennessee is not a document that is a product of the Planning Commission. It's a product of the County Commission. I mean, it's us. And so while they brought this forward to this point, the only body that can approve of a land use plan is 14 commissioners, or 8 of the 14. We've seen, since this came out, a lot of activity. A lot of people have had some concerns. A lot of people have had some questions. Some of those questions got answered. A lot of them didn't. I think last month, in November, Commissioner Giannakis took the yeoman's effort to go through and do some editing that should go in here. And I think that we do need to do that. I think it needs to reflect what we, 8 of 14, can approve of. And so I want to make sure that I'm kind of trying to set this groundwork up to make it. I laugh. I've told a couple of these commissioners, I don't get on social media very much, but I read where somebody told me that this was the Keith Nash, Claude Callicott land use plan. I can tell you this, if I was going to write a land use plan for Hickman County, it wouldn't be this, because it has high density growth in my backyard. And I don't like it. My neighbors don't like it. I know that some of y'all's folks have brought to y'all that they don't like certain aspects of it. I guarantee you, my neighbors don't like the aspect that I approved and agreed to 0 lot line development in the 4th district, which is exactly what this document has in it. But ultimately, this is a document that we agreed to because it's the land use plan. I think there's some misconceptions about it. There was a point, Was I okay with it? Yeah, because I thought it was gonna be a document that we just, okay, it's a document. It was something we gotta do. I mean, this is the land use plan we've been under the last 20 years. I bet you none of y'all read it from cover to cover. Much less, I can assure you, we don't adhere to it. Are there things that we've done that are consistent with it? Absolutely. But is everything that we do adhere to this? Absolutely not. And yet, seems to be a misconception that, if we do this, we have to do it. It's not, that we are bound. And I know that from reading lots of other land use plans in some of our adjacent communities, and this one, which is the one we're on now, that's not true. But having said that, is it a good idea for us to put our best foot forward in making a document that reflects the direction of the county for the next 20 years? And I say absolutely. It absolutely should be done. And again, I want to make sure, when you look at this, and again, I apologize, but I don't know how to do. When I sit up there, I can't say the things that I'm saying to you right now. And so I'm saying all this so that maybe we can get a better path forward. When I look at this document, which was, again, the culmination of these folks getting into all this, it shows the goals. The goals are to preserve Hickman County's pristine rivers, creeks, blah, blah, blah. Maintain the rural sense of place through the preservation of low-density rural ag areas. Maintain agriculture. Accommodate growth through a conservation approach to the conversion of undeveloped land into housing. These are the goals. I'm just going through them. Develop housing options that service the community members throughout one's lifespan and economic status. Increase tourism, high-paying jobs, sales tax revenue. Expand the sewer alternatives and water coverage to meet the growing demands in Northeast Hickman. Expand grocery, hardware store availability, diversity shopping options, and increase access to community recreation centers. I mean, those were the goals that came out of it. And I don't know if those are truly reflective of the goals of what 8 of us agreed to or not. But if they are, then we should look at these goals and make sure that the plan is reflective of supporting those goals. And quite frankly, if we're gonna start doing something in this, which I agree with, that we should, we need to make sure that the goals are appropriately reflected in the rest of this document. And I do think, as some of the folks said, that there's a little bit of a conflict in here. There is. This is a strategy. This was a strategy. I don't know who said it. I was in a business meeting one time, and I don't know who said this, but culture eats strategy for breakfast. Let's be honest. While this is a strategy, the culture that we live in is one that has a degree of distrust of government. And I'm not going to sit here and argue with anybody about that. I mean, I didn't run for county commission 20 years ago because I trusted the guys that were making some of those decisions, and gals. So I understand where they're coming from. There's a trust problem. I've spoken with one of my I've spoken with several county commissioners about this, and I'm perfect. This old plan says that there is a mention in here of the fact that Hickman County, his properties already is zoned 1 acre. There's 1 acre. This doesn't really change that. This didn't put this in stone, but it does say that it is 1 acre, and if there's going to be changes to that, it needs to be done through a variety of different means. You know, that wording is missing from here. I am more than happy and would like the opportunity to sit there and tweak some of that and put that exact language in here that says 1 acre is the standard. I also would like the opportunity to look at some of this other stuff that I don't think is consistent with those goals, if those are indeed our goals. Having said all that, you know, I've heard lots of different stuff mentioned about this. It does not, the one thing it does not need to do is go back to the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission is not capable of the next step because they don't have their pulse on the people. They don't answer to the people like we do. We are the voice of the folks of Hickman County. And this needs to be a document that we all agree to, us, the people of Hickman County. So the question is, okay, how do we fix this? How do we take this document now? And I hope everybody's looked at what Steve put out. He did some good work. But look at the rest of this and say, okay, how do we tweak this that we can all get on board and say, hey, yeah, this is kind of where we're going. So I'm going to make first off, I'm going to make a motion that for the next couple of months, that this committee, since we don't have another real committee, part of our business is to look at edits, put forth motions to this document that we can then take back, approve at the county court level, and send back to Gresham Smith for the rewrite. Because I think there are some rewrites that folks want to go do. But there's not a venue for that unless we want to meet another night, which I don't particularly want to do. But if we can dovetail that as part of this meeting, we're all here, and that would give us an opportunity to hash some of that stuff out. So that's, and I'll stop right now before I actually make the motion because I want to make sure I answer any questions. But I want this to be done in an orderly fashion, and it's just too hard to do it under the constraints if we do it outside of the committee. So.
Commissioner, I have a question. And I was listening, but can you re-say what you did? You want us to, I know you want us to get together, go through some things, but then vote on it, then send it to Gresham Smith? Or should it be, we make?
Well, here, you know.
The order of operations is my question.
I understand. Well, and again, here's what I think is crazy, you know. I don't know if everybody's ever looked at this. The front page of the old document. Anybody ever looked at it? What does it say on there? It's the stupidest word in the whole world. Draft. It still says draft on it. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. So what my thought is that next few months, we use this committee to redline, to add stuff in, and we vote on it, we agree to it. And then when it's all said and done, and we've redlined it, and we've added it goes to the county court with all the red lines and edits. And then you can still redline and edit again on that night. But once that's done, then we send it to Gresham Smith for them to spit polish it, do it like it, you know, and then bring it back for that final vote. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Because because if we don't, we're going to end up with a document that has draft. And I mean, again, I don't know how many of y'all have read this. There's grammatical things. I mean, there's not that much grammar. We did the grammar part right anyway. I'd like to make sure that we don't look silly 20 years from now when somebody picks up this one, like when I pick up this one and go, man, did they not read it? Did they not even review it? So that would be my suggestion as to the process.
We're using different words, but
Okay.
we would amend that.
Yep.
with a vote, then send it off to them to spit polish, and then vote on it
Yeah, make sure it's,
for real, you know
make
what
sure
I
it's
mean.
all, because we don't wanna sit there and say, yeah, this is what we've done, then they go out and they print something, and all of a sudden it's not, it's got a draft on it again. I mean, I think that's the way that I would suggest that we do it. So, I mean, again, I've listened to what some other county commissioners say. And again, I think Steve was trying really hard to, in fact, I know he was, to get some things done that it might pass at the last minute. I mean, you were working on that like the day of and the hour of, in fact. And so, those are good. We need to incorporate those, and we need to talk about those, and then we need to, and there may be some other things. And again, one of those things is, you know, we need to look at some of that wording that was in here that everybody seems to relish, and how can we incorporate that, and where should it be incorporated? I'm not sure if I'm making any sense, but at the end of the day, we're gonna have to vote on a document that we all can agree to. This is not a planning commission document anymore, it's ours. So we need to have a venue for us to have that discussion and to debate it and determine what we want in it, and what we want out of it. And my suggestion is that we use this committee for the next couple of months to do exactly that. And I'm not prepared to do anything tonight, other than let's make sure that we have this discussion. And that way it would give us the opportunity to flesh out the issues in, you know, a less formal environment, which is what we do in these committees. So, having said that, I'm gonna make a motion that we use the next 2 to 3 months of the public safety and everything else that's on this one, committee time to hash out the changes that the county court would like to make to the future land use plan of the county.
Okay, is there a second? Second, Bob. Mr. Chester. Discussion.
So it would be added to agenda of every meeting?
Yeah,
So
that way we could put it on the agenda and we'd have it.
Yeah.
That way it's just kind of to the public, would see we're talking.
No, yeah, absolutely.
I just don't-
It's either, I mean, again, Matthew, my concern was either we do it here, we do it in budget. Well, guys, if you've been around this joint a while, you know what's about to happen on budget. We don't need to be tossing anything more on budget in the first quarter. So that kind of left this committee.
Yeah.
Or have a special night, and I really wasn't interested in doing that. So,
Any more discussion?
I got a couple thoughts. So, you know, we had everybody show up to that meeting. That was a kind of an open meeting, work session. We listened to what they said. I think a lot of the changes that I did addressed pretty much everything, every concern that was brought up there. You know, right now, there's a motion, you know, that's been, I don't know, tabled until the next time we meet. You know, when that, the way I understand it is when it comes back up, agenda time, when we get to that agenda item, that motion is to be voted on. If we vote yes to make those amendments, then you'd have to turn around and say, take that whole land use plan and send it back to this committee. Basically, a motion would have to be made to do that. Do I understand that? Or what we need to
I
have?
mean, I understand what you're saying. What I would, I'm talking just pure
Yeah.
parliamentarian.
Yeah,
I would think at the January meeting of the county commission, where that is taken off the table, that a motion be made immediately, if this is what the body wants, is to send the document back here, and we wouldn't even vote on that night. We wouldn't vote on those, that list.
We would not vote on the amendments, we would vote to send it back.
And those amendments would be promulgated here.
No, there'd be a motion on the table. How would you be able to turn around and send it back when we considered it? I made the motion, it was seconded, and then it was tabled, which can push it off, but to totally remove that motion.
No, we wouldn't. So I think if I remember correctly, Steve, that the motion was to table it until January.
Yes.
So it's gonna come off the table in January.
All right.
Then the motion would then, okay, so now it's on the table. Then you take the initial motion, which is what you made.
Correct.
and the motion would be made to send that back to this committee. And then that's what would happen. So,
I'm looking at Ron because I don't, that doesn't
Does there
seem logical
have
to
to
me.
be a motion to take something off I mean,
no, I think the way we did that,
We tabled it for a
to make
time.
certain.
We tabled it to a time.
Okay.
Now,
But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that on January, there's a yes or a no. It means that it's taken up as business again. It can be another motion to table, it could be a motion to postpone, it could be, whatever. So, at that moment in time.
Mr. Collins?
I was under, what we tabled was a suggestion to this plan that we were gonna look at, and then, if it's what we wanted at a later date, vote this in. I didn't, that's the problem I don't see now, why you wouldn't do that, bring it off, put it back before the committee, put it in there like you wanted, see what it looks like there. It's, we don't get through this for summer, but it's what I really think needs to be done.
and I'm going off memory, we tabled the amendments.
We tabled the motion to amend the land use plan as written till January of 2026.
Actually, to our next meeting, but
No, I think, okay, never mind.
That amendment wasn't, that was just to amend, so we could look at it and then decide if that's what we wanted to vote on.
Yeah, it wasn't,
It wasn't a final
Yeah.
vote.
it's
Correct.
not- Yeah, so, we're not really losing anything.
Mr. Barnhill?
I think if we voted on your motion after we voted on Steve's motion, then we would add the full commission, wouldn't that make more sense that way?
Well, again, all I'm trying to do is have this discussion tonight, because the county court, even though we are the county court, that's where the final decision will occur. And that's all I was trying to figure out is if everybody was okay with us having that discussion in this setting as opposed to, the battle royale that sometimes can come out in a full county court meeting. And we also have these constraints. I mean, we gotta conduct the business in a certain fashion where we're looser always here.
Yeah, I agree. I would just think, I would like to see how Steve's motion plays out before I vote on your motion.
I think that's the
That's
order that I'd like to see as well. Or I would have to, pull my motion back, which I'm not gonna do.
Yeah.
So, that's what I feel like.
Mr. Jordan?
I have a question. The majority of what we heard in here that night of the person from the folks in the audience that are constituents primarily was the 1 acre. I mean, that's what we heard. And Steve's motion, I think, took care of that. If that had passed that night, I don't think anybody would had anybody else back in here. So, Keith, according to what you're proposing, it's the 1 acre plus some other things. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think there's the 1 acre, and then there's some folks who want to put in there, kind of like the statement that's in the old plan, that, it recognizes the fact that 1 acre is the standard. There was a statement there. And I'll be the first to tell you that, if, I'm trying to think how to word this in the right fashion. The thing that changed me in this, Dusty, is that there's and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not. I'm saying that maybe I was wrong, is that we were gonna pass a land use plan, and basically it was gonna do, like this one, But there is a certain group out there that seems to feel as if whatever we write in here, not only should we do, that now we must do. And I think some of y'all may have heard that. There's people out there who are now out there saying, whatever's in here must be followed. Not just adhered to, but followed. So there's some wording in here that for example, okay, I'm all into infrastructure, but what are we talking about when we're talking about expanding sewer? Because there's some folks out there that are ready to use this wording that suddenly we're gonna have to, we must go get in bed with somebody in order to, because we said we're going to, right here, it said we're gonna expand. Well, wait a minute, that's not the way I work, I listen to that anymore. And that, but 6 months ago, I wasn't thinking that because I know it's in here. But if that's the thought process that people now are operating under, which I'm not against, then I would be not doing my due diligence for my constituents. If I sit there and said, oh yeah, we've been fighting this dog tooth and nail, now I'm turning around and giving you a pass, let's go do it. Because that's what this says. And I also don't think it would be fair to my constituents that if that's the new thought process, that we go in there and say, okay, we're gonna have, and I'm using this word, this is not the word that's in here, zero lot line development in parts of this county. Well, wait a minute, the county just said they wanted agricultural preservation and 1 acre was the standard, not 2/10 of an acre. Well, that's in here. So, I've had a mind shift, I'll be the first to tell you, because, you know, I've been listening to what the folks have to say. And again, I'm 100% supportive of what Steve, those suggestions are. I just think we need to do some additional work if that's the case. So, and it's all predicated on the fact that there are those people now. And we, you know, who knows who's gonna be here this time next year. We don't want them to sit there and say, if there's a document that says this is a land use plan, then it needs to be, and they look at it from the perspective of, hey, this is where we're doing, where we're going. It needs to be really reflective of where we want to do and where we want to go. And I guess to my thinking, if we're going to tweak it, then there's a couple more tweaks that I would like to entertain. So, and there needs to be a venue to entertain that and have those discussions. And again, I'm picking on this, okay? I'm just picking on it. And this is, but you know, one of the things talks about, and I'm trying to think of how that was worded, and I apologize. Let me read this phrase to you. The public recognized the need to selectively expand infrastructure in areas that could strategically accommodate future growth, thereby increasing the tax base and providing suitable locations for industry and job growth. Now, is that a true statement? Absolutely. I think that's what people said. But you could read that in there, that says it's going to increase, that doesn't say that it increases or lessens the tax burden. I don't think anybody that I was in any of these meetings said, hey, listen, I want my tax dollars to go build the infrastructure for the developers. Nobody said that. But that's exactly how this could be read. Because somehow they think that infrastructure and expansion of the infrastructure is going to increase the tax base, which is going to lead to lower taxes. Guys, that's the biggest lie that ever came down the pike. The biggest lie that ever came down the pike. Expanding the infrastructure, expanding everything is going to lead to enhanced taxes. Dixon County would love to have our per capita tax rate. Excuse me, our per capita tax assessment and how much they get paid. Because what you write that check for in Hickman County is significantly less than what you write it for in Dixon County, in Murray County, and in Williamson County, and in Humphreys County. Because we have successfully kept our finances right. We've kept our debt right. Guys, our debt per capita is $500, thereabouts, per person. When I got here 2007, I asked Crystal to help me out today. It was $1,500 per person. We've worked hard to get our debt down. Dixon is through the roof. They're paying taxes on a debt and they're just doubling down on debt every single day. So, I mean, there's some wording in here that if we're not real careful, it can be misread. And those are the things that I'm concerned with. I'm not concerned about what Steve did at all. I'm concerned about if that's the perception going forward. I'm okay for us having expansion of infrastructure with the key aspect of it being on the burden being placed on the developers and the contractors, not the public. There's no upside to the public to do this. I don't care what anybody says. Bring me one study from anywhere in the state of Tennessee that reflect, or a narrative, the real money, real dollars, that shows that growth equals lower taxes. I've never seen it. Ever. It's not there, it's nowhere. So if you're looking to lower your tax burden as an individual, you gotta be careful. And some of that wording, this is not the Bible, but if everybody wants to look at it as the guide, then I think there's some tweaks that we need to make. That's my concern.
Any other discussion? Sir?
I did a little homework. When we untable it, it brings the amendments in this case back to life. Give me some time to study this a little bit more than tonight, but my initial feeling tonight, and I could be wrong, that it becomes active on our agenda again. So we might have to deal with that.
No, I think we would absolutely have to deal with Steve's motion. Now, I'm not trying to.
Okay, I
I'm
thought
not
that
trying to
was,
sidestep
I
that
thought
at
that
all.
was questioned a while ago.
No. Steve's motion is gonna come on the table and we're gonna do something with it. But the something we may do is to make a motion to send it back to this committee.
And that's what we really wanted. We
Right.
wanted an option that night. That was it. We asked for time to study it. Now it's back to.
Now it's back to the table, but what he's saying is,
No, I mean, get it off the table. Put it out there. Put it in front of us like he's amended it. Let's look at it. See if that's what we want.
There's just, my concern is there's gotta be a venue for us to have this discussion. And that's what I was trying to do. And again, I'm not trying to bring up any or all of the points that I think that we need to discuss. There's several. Again, and my paradigm has changed because I think there are people who look at this and say, this is what we're going to do. And if this is what we're going to do, it needs to be a little more articulated, in my opinion. We need to be a little clearer in some of the things that we have. It was a little vague. It was a little vague on purpose. Well, now we're wanting to be more specific. Well, if we're going to be more specific, we need to be very more specific.
Mr. Mayor.
do you think they're right? The people that are saying that document will be the thereof, or is the thereof?
I personally don't believe it is because I don't see that as being the historical precedent. However, you know, we have done this work. I mean, we're kind of at the end. So, I mean, I'm not against, I'm all for what Steve was wanting to do. I just think we need to do a few more things, if that's the way that we're gonna look at it, to be very specific and to ensure that we don't hamstring future bodies. I'm gonna tell you something. Guys, again, I think I became the budget chairman in 2007. The per capita debt. Every person in this county carried over $1,500 of debt. Now it's $500. That was a lot of work. Some people didn't like it. Some people had some problems with some of it. But here we are today. And I'm scared that left unchecked, we'll be right back in that again. Because I look at all the surrounding communities. Williamson County with all their people and with all of their sales tax. Still, every person in Williamson County carries almost $4,500 of debt on their property tax. Not sales tax, not debt, property tax. Guys, so I just think that we need to be smart, and if we're gonna do this, we need to kind of tweak it a little bit, that's all.
This one's to, you two were the two on the committee that are in here tonight. Whatever passes, this passes. There's a certain number of years before you revisit that, a minimum. Did I dream this somewhere? So I was thinking it was 3 years.
I thought they said 5, but I may be, you can't vote on it again for 5 years.
For 5 years, and after 5 years, then it's back,
It can be opened up again.
okay.
But 5 years, oh, guys, things can go crazy in 5 years if we're not careful.
In order for the zoning resolution to change, I mean, that's gonna be a process. The normal process is that whatever changes, lot size, allow, whatever, starts in the planning commission, gets kicked around, they come up with something, it comes to this body, 2 months worth. I mean, there's going to be, it takes some time. I mean, technically, you know, county commissioner could bring it up. You know, I mean, I don't think that's how the best way, I think it ought to go to the planning commission first, but so any, you know, you ask, you know, that one stayed on the shelf.
Yes.
That one stayed on the shelf, because there wasn't big push to change anything from using that. And so, but I mean, there's a big process for anything to really check the nuts and bolts of it that makes it, whatever you wanna call it, law, whatever, you know, and so that, you know, you asked if, you know, if it was, you know, about the have to or whatever, I mean, it would have to start and go through that process before anything would ever change using that as a guide, so.
But even if we, after that 3 or 5, whichever one it is, whomever is sitting in these chairs can still rewrite.
100%, and the state recommends that you do, not what we did.
Yeah.
They recommend you pull it off the shelf and look at it all the time, update, you know, infrastructure maps, you update, I mean, do the whole, not the whole thing probably, but just look at it and bring it back.
Chapters of it.
Yeah, I mean, that, you know, if there's a big change, you know, if there's a big change outside of our community, inside of our community, they recommend pull it off the shelf, take a look at it again as things change. And that's how it ought, I mean, that makes common sense to me. That's how it ought to be done, you know.
Well, that was my, I guess my question, you know, if, in Keith's words, you know, if this is law, which is still just a document, if this is law, but it's law that can be changed in 3 to 5 years, no matter who's in these seats. If the same 14 of us are here, somebody could change their mind.
Sure. I mean, the other one stayed as a guide that stayed on the shelf for 20-something years. And that's just a fact of it. And there's a lot of counties that's how it is. I mean, the thought is that the planning commission pulls that off the shelf, goes through what's the priorities of the county.
Well,
And then they start going, all right, how do we make that happen? That to me, that's how I understand the process. The one, you know, as we go along, the planning commission pulls that off. What's the priorities of the county that's been adopted by the legislative body? Okay, what's some changes that we need to do with the zoning resolution? The big green book, my big green book, what do we need to do to make that happen? And that's why that is supposed to be pulled off the shelf quicker than 20 years as things change around the community. But it's supposed to be a guide for the planning commission to use, to start making, to present changes to the legislative body.
Steve had some 10 amendments.
I don't remember.
I think it was 10 pages of amendments. With us sitting here, we had it in our hand. Our constituents did not. You read it, everything was flawless. But that's the reason why I wanted to table it, was to give the people that sit on the other side of that rail a chance to devour it. I'll hush.
I wouldn't mind voting on your motion, but I would like to vote on Steve's first, you know, at the full commission, because that
I
way.
mean, it's gonna have to,
I think that's what's
motion will
gonna
be,
happen.
it'll be old business.
Yeah.
And all I'm asking tonight, I'm making a motion that we do that. This is a committee vote. It'll be recommended to the county court. We're gonna have to vote on that as well.
Because I think it would help the public, if we approve them, it would just make it easier to work on it in the next 2 months. Just make it easier for the public, they ain't think we're doing something.
No,
If those pass.
If those pass, I think it would just be easier to work out some of the other things instead of they think, that we're out in here.
That's what my concern was,
Yeah.
that it's gonna, if we don't work on the motions at hand, it would appear that it's gonna be very underhanded.
Yeah.
And as if we're trying to put it into a committee to do some other stuff with that a lot of people won't show up with.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna come back to the county commission and everybody's gonna show up in this courtroom. So, that's my, my biggest
I would be
concern.
okay with a motion, make
And-
it the floor that night.
And quite frankly, my motion for the amendments all addressed everybody's concern, and it was,
Yeah.
really there, but, all right, I know you had
No, I'm good.
Anybody else? So we have, circling back, y'all help the JV
My
chairman.
motion is for the next, up to the next 3 months, that the Public Safety Committee be used as a committee to take up additional changes to the land use plan.
Okay. And that was second. It was, all right. Have we finished the discussion? No, we have not.
I make a motion to table the motion that Keith just made until February.
I'll second that.
Okay?
Okay.
To table it to this committee in February?
To table
or
it
to
until February.
Full commission
full
February.
commission February?
Right.
Okay.
A full commission, Jim.
All right.
February.
Point of clarification.
Yes, sir.
If he's making a motion to table the motion that I made, it is to this committee. It's not,
That's what I want to understand.
okay, just making sure.
And since we're operating in this committee, we
Yeah.
can only table it to this committee.
Yeah, because that's just taken for this committee.
Y'all are giving me a headache.
And I would encourage you not to table it because, again,
There's no,
under
there's
old
no-
business.
there's no discussion, there's no
Exactly.
discussion on it.
Let's vote, Beth, on the motion to table.
Okay, who was the second on the motion?
Aye.
You were. Okay.
Giannakis?
And you need roll call for that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Claude Calcott,
No.
Todd Collins,
No.
Michael Wayne Thomason,
Yes.
Matthew Barnhill,
Yes.
Keith Nash,
No.
Steve Jadakis.
Yes.
Dusty Jordan,
No.
Ron Mayberry,
Yes.
Devin Pickard,
Yes.
Clay Chester,
No.
Ricky Murray,
Yes.
so 5 noes, 6 yes.
Okay. All right. So Commissioner Nash's, the motion to table failed. The motion Commissioner Nash brought is on the table for a vote now. Any more discussion on that?
I do have one
Okay.
question or point. The amendments that were made in the last meeting that were tabled until
This month.
should not be affected by your motion. We can do whatever we want to do with them in January, and whatever is left, if that passes, if it goes to a vote and it passes, that doesn't change anything with Keith's motion. We still have, but I think, what Steve just said, if we keep it on the table, don't, what Keith said, it will be brought out. But if it's shoved back, then it wouldn't look underhanded. It wouldn't, and I don't have a trust to go, and even this one. Wait a minute. So I just want to clarify that neither motion negates the other.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Is it all clear? anticipating, we're gonna take up Commissioner Giannox's amendments.
Old
And then-
business.
And then we're gonna take up Commissioner Nash's suggestion about kicking it back to the committee. So, for prolonged, the discussion that never ends. No, nothing is planned. So, all right, let's have a vote on Mr. Nash's, let's do a roll call vote, because I know you enjoy those the best, Beth.
Oh, don't know. Okay, Chloe Kellycott.
Yes.
Todd Collins.
Yes.
Mike Wayne Thompson.
No,
Matthew Barnhill.
No.
Keith Nash.
Yes.
Steve Janakis.
Yes.
Dusty Jordan.
Yes.
Ron Mayberry.
Yes.
Evan Pickard.
No.
Clay Chesser.
Yes.
And Ricky Murray.
No.
Sorry, guys.
You came up with more than 11?
Well,
Hey, don't worry, it's the first time you've ever done that. Casey Dorton does it all the time. Don't feel bad.
Todd Collins, I did not record your vote.
Well, I was in favor of it, whatever
Okay.
that would be, yes or no.
That's a yes.
Yeah, don't feel bad. Casey can't count it. It's, you do a much better job.